Ever wish your website could work a little harder? You know, pull in more leads even while you're busy with other things.
Well, get ready, because that's what we're diving into today.
We're checking out this blog post by web developer Eddie Buscana, and he talks about how a sales-driven web design philosophy totally changed his business.
Yeah, and he credits that shift to sales and marketing expert Marlon Marescia.
So we're going to unpack Marlon's approach and see why it's so effective.
You know, it's interesting, both Eddie and Marlon, they see websites as these dynamic tools, for generating leads.
Right, not just like a digital brochure.
Right. Exactly. They're like 24/7 sales reps working all the time to attract and engage potential customers.
Okay, so it's more than just having a nice looking site, right? You have to design it with sales in mind right from the start. But how does that work, really? I mean, how do you actually do that?
Think of it like, a physical store, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You wouldn't just open the doors and hope people wander in. You'd have those marketing campaigns, attractive displays, maybe even salespeople to help customers find what they need.
Sure, guide them towards a purchase.
Exactly. So a
Your
sales-driven website, it does the same thing, just online.
Makes sense. So how do you recreate that kind of experience in the digital world?
Marlon calls it integration, which is basically using a combination of different strategies working together seamlessly.
Okay.
Think like SEO, PPC advertising, social media campaigns.
Hold on, for those of us who aren't marketing experts, could you break down what SEO and PPC are? I mean, I hear those terms all the time.
Absolutely. So SEO, search engine optimization, it's all about making sure your website shows up high in those search engine results.
Right.
So when people search for, products or services you offer, your site pops up first.
Got it.
Now, PPC, or pay-per-click advertising, that's a way to place targeted ads on search engines and other websites. You can tailor these ads to reach specific groups of people based on demographics, interests, all of that.
So it's about making sure people can actually find your website when they're searching for something you offer, and then using targeted ads to really get right in front of the right people.
Exactly. And get this, Eddie highlights Marlon's work with SSW, a software company, as a prime example of this whole integrated approach in action. Marlon used a strategy that included, SEO, PPC, content marketing, you name it, to make SSW a leader in their field, even when they were up against some really tough competition.
That's proof a good strategy can really make a difference. But with so many things going on at once, it seems like it'd be crazy time-consuming to manage.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And that's actually why automation is a key principle in Marlon's approach.
Okay.
He's a huge advocate for it, especially when it comes to video marketing.
Yeah.
In fact, he even created this tool called Video Marketing Machine.
Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is where it gets really interesting. From what I've heard, this tool can take one video and turn it into multiple different marketing campaigns in just minutes. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. The Video Marketing Machine can, get this, generate 5 different campaigns from just one video. And it only takes like 15 minutes.
Wow, 15 minutes. That's amazing. Talk about a time saver, right? But I mean, besides the speed, what's the real benefit of automating video marketing like that? What's the big advantage?
It's all about scale. Businesses can really amp up their marketing without, burning themselves out. Instead of creating every single campaign from scratch for all these different platforms, they can automate that whole process.
Right.
And then they can use that extra time, those resources, for other important stuff.
It's like having a whole team of marketers working for you, but, virtually. That's pretty cool, but it can't just be about putting stuff out there faster, can it? Don't you have to see what's working and what's not?
Absolutely. That's where data analysis comes in. Both Marlon and Eddie are big on this. They say you got to track how people are reacting to your marketing. It's about making decisions based on the data so you get the biggest impact.
So just automating isn't enough. You got to be smart about looking at the results and making changes based on what the data tells you.
Exactly. Work smarter, not harder, right?
Yeah.
When you look at things like website traffic, how many leads turn into customers, how engaged people are, that's how you figure out what's clicking with your audience, what they like.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Do you have an example, though? Like, how could this data analysis actually improve someone's marketing?
Sure, okay. Imagine you've got 2 landing pages on your site, right?
Okay.
They both promote the same product, but one of them, it's converting way more leads into actual paying customers.
Interesting.
Now you dig into the data, and you might find that the one that's doing better has a stronger call to action, maybe the layout's more user-friendly, or maybe there's a video that's super persuasive.
So you could use that information to improve your other landing page and maybe see a big jump in sales.
Right, exactly the idea.
That's really cool. It sounds like this data analysis is really powerful stuff.
Oh, it really is. You're taking raw data and turning it into something useful, something that gets you results. And the best part is, you don't have to be some kind of tech genius or marketing guru to make it work.
That's a relief because, I'll be honest, it was starting to sound a little complicated. So what you're saying is that anyone can do this.
Yeah. That there's so many tools out there, resources that can help anyone, big businesses, small businesses, even if you don't have a ton of money or a whole marketing team.
Okay, that's good to hear. So for the people listening, maybe some business owners who might be feeling a little overwhelmed by all this, what's the most important thing to take away? What's the big picture here?
It's really about changing how you see your website. It shouldn't be like, an online brochure. It can do so much more. It can be this active tool that brings in leads, gets you more sales. You got it. And it can do all that 24/7.
Right.
So when you adopt this sales-driven mindset,
Yeah.
use automation, and really pay attention to the data, that's when you're building a website that's like having a whole sales team working for you around the clock.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about Marlon's thing with video marketing, right?
Right.
Eddie seems to think that's a really important part of this whole approach. Why do you think video is so effective? What is it about video that really works for businesses?
Well, video, it just grabs your attention, right?
It does.
It's a really good way to connect with people on a personal level, build that trust. Plus, you can get information across in a way that's interesting, but also really easy to grasp.
Makes sense.
And with all these platforms now, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram Reels, it's everywhere. It's easier than ever to use video.
That's true. I feel like pretty much every business I see is doing something with video these days. But it can be a bit much sometimes,
Oh, yeah.
Like, where do you even begin?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not enough to just slap any old video together and throw it online. You need a plan.
Okay.
Think about what you want those videos to do. Are you trying to get your name out there, teach people about your product or service, or just make more sales? Once you know what you're aiming for, then you can make videos that actually help you hit those targets.
This has been a really eye-opening conversation. I feel like I've gone from, knowing nothing about marketing to feeling like, well, maybe not an expert, but definitely more confident.
That's great to hear, but it's not about becoming a marketing guru overnight, right? It's more about, taking that first step, trying something new.
You're right. So for those listening who are ready to ditch the whole online brochure thing and build a website that actually gets them results, what's one thing they can start doing today?
Here's what I'd say. Put yourself in your customer's shoes for a second. When they land on your site, can they tell what you do? Do they know how you can help them? Is it crystal clear what they should do next? If not, start there. Make sure people understand what you bring to the table and make it easy for them to work with you.
That's great advice. Think like your customer, right?
Exactly.
I love it. This has been awesome. Thanks so much for explaining everything.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, the most important thing is that first step. Start small, try things out, and keep learning as you go. You got this.
I like that. Start small, experiment, keep learning. That's great advice for anything, really. And that's a wrap on another deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone.